It's time for Baby and Toddler Instructions with host Blythe Lippman. Blythe is a nationally renowned infant and toddler expert who has over 30 years' experience helping moms and dads regain their sanity, teaching them how to survive, and giving them the confidence they need to be the best parents ever. From sleeping to crying to potty training to choosing a preschool and so much more. If you're a parent, Baby and Toddler Instructions is the show you've been looking for. Now here's your host, Blythe Lippman.
Well, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever in the world you may be. Thanks so much for tuning into Baby and Toddler Instructions today. Hope you're all having a great day, and I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day last week. I have a great show planned today. I have a wonderful guest. Her name is Kirsten Chapman, and she's from, I believe it's Cleanimals, but I'm not sure if that's how you say it. We'll get her to tell me. Anyway, she'll be with us in just a bit, and if you have any questions, comments, or just want to say hi, call me at 877-864-4869 anytime during the show. I love callers. But first, I have a few things to share, as always. I have been back east for a couple of weeks, getting my elderly mother's house ready to sell. She's in a senior center, has slight dementia, is doing okay, but boy, I got to tell you, what an adventure to get somebody's house cleaned out when it's not your stuff. So I am very happy to be back. Last couple of weeks we played some podcasts from before, and all my podcasts are always available on toginet.com, or you can go to my website, mybestparentingadvice.com, click on radio, and you will see all the podcasts from many years. I love doing my show, as you know. But anyway, when I was back east, I have to tell you, I had an actual snow day, and I've been in Arizona for over 23 years, and as much as I love it, even though it was a little cold, it was a fun change. So if you go to my Facebook page, which is my name, Blythe Lippman, you'll see a video that I posted in the snow, and I also gave you some easy tips to use if you have babies or toddlers. So check out my pages, check out Blythe Lippman, check out My Best Parenting Advice and Baby Instructions on Facebook. Like them, comment. Anyway, take a look. So if you haven't seen snow for a while, you can see it online and don't even have to shovel it. Also, you'll find a lot of other tips that I put on Facebook all the time, and love what I do, as I said. So moving on, there were a couple of recalls this week. The Britex recalled strollers, the B Agile and the BOB Bob Motion strollers with click-and-go receivers. It says a damaged receiver mount on the stroller can cause the car seat to disengage and fall unexpectedly, posing a fall hazard to infants in the car seat. So this is the kind of stroller that you put your car seat in. Anyway, so if you have any kind of Britex, BRITAX strollers, check them out. They're on my website, mybestparentingadvice.com, under recalls. Also, Feld Entertainment recalled light spinner toy wands. The top component can detach and expose an 8-inch metal rod, posing an injury that's certainly a hazard to young children. I would think so. Also, last one this week, and I just checked this morning to see if anything else came up, the Walt Disney Parks and Resort recalled the Happy Holidays Mickey Mouse night lights. Another bad one. Liquid from the night light can leak into the electrical outlet, posing a fire hazard. So if you have any kind of night lights from the Walt Disney Parks, you know what? Check out the number and or send them an email, and do not try to fix them yourself. I always say that. Don't think you can fix it. That's why we do recalls, to keep everybody safe. Also, if this is the first time you've listened to my show, I always share my expertise and tips from my 3 books, Help My Baby Came Without Instructions, More Help My Baby Came Without Instructions, and Help My Toddler Came Without Instructions. So since I was on the plane this week, I spent 5 hours on Sunday coming back from New Jersey. I thought I'd share some tips from Help My Toddler Came Without Instructions, a chapter called, The Places We'll Go. Because, spring and summer is going to be here before you know it, and it's traveling time. And if you have a toddler, it can be quite a challenge, because you know how tough it can be to sit for even 10 seconds. So first of all, being prepared is the name of the game, no matter where you're going, car trip, bus trip, airplane, train. So let me tell you a couple things that I think will make your life easier. If you're going to let your children watch a video and it doesn't have a charger on whatever whatever it is, a tablet, or you have anything you're bringing with you with batteries, a toy that may talk to get them to sleep, always bring extra batteries, extra chargers if you have them, and photo cards to put in your phones or your smart devices if you don't want to run out of room with those pictures. Also, don't underestimate the power of music. Load up your phone with Toddler tunes. They think it's so funny when you put headphones on them, even if they're yours, if you don't have smaller ones. And they get cranky. Put those headphones on, and you'll see it will really entertain them for at least 15 minutes anyway, and you can get them to sit still. Also, if you just started potty training, wearing pull-ups with big girl or big boy panties on top is a really good choice. There's nothing worse than being on a plane, a train, a car, and you're not near a bathroom, and all of a sudden they have an accident. But you know what? They do, and that's normal. So potty training is not great if you just started it and you're going to go on vacation. So still let them wear the big boy and big girl panties, but put a pull-up on underneath and explain just until you get to wherever you're going to be that's something that will work for you. So those are tips from my book, Help My Toddler Came Without Instructions, which is available on Amazon, on BarnesandNoble.com. In bookstores, they'll order it for you if they don't have it. And, of course, my website, mybestparentingadvice.com. Oh, it's also, I forgot, my books are also on Audible.com. So if you like to listen to books, while you're working out or something like that, or when you're walking, get them on Audible.com. So let's see, before I welcome my guest, what else do I have today? Well, this was pretty interesting. If you're a firstborn, I have good news for you. In USA Today, on February 13th, they had an article. It says, study, firstborn children are smarter than their siblings. In addition to having the privilege of being the first to use clothes and toys, firstborn children can now add another advantage over their siblings. According to the study published in the Journal of Human Resources, firstborn children may have better thinking skills than their siblings because they receive more mental stimulation during their early stages of development. Well, it's just a study. We take our studies with a grain of salt, right? It says for the study, researchers used data from the U.S. Children of the National Longitudinal Survey of Youth on nearly 5,000 children who were monitored pre-birth to age 14. Every 2 years, the children in the study were assessed in a slew of categories: reading, vocabulary, assessment, matching letters, etc., etc. The research found that the firstborn children typically perform better than their siblings as early as age 1, which could be due to how parents treat subsequent children. According to the study, they were less likely to partake in mentally stimulating activities. I don't know if I agree with that. Meaning they may not have developed the same thinking skills as the older sibling. Our results suggest that broad shifts in parental behavior are a plausible explanation for the observed birth differences in our education and labor marketing outcomes. I don't know about that. I'm not quite sure what I actually think if that's true. You know me, I always give my opinion, and that's my opinion because it's pretty obvious. If you're the firstborn, you have no siblings, then mom and dad really do have more time, and they really do, maybe take the firstborn places where they would not actually take two, because sometimes it's tougher to take two. I don't know. I'm going to ask my guest what she thinks about this study, because my opinion, of course, if you have one, you spend more time with them. If you have two, maybe you don't. But what I always say to everybody is take some time every day if you can, even if it's 5 minutes with the book before you go to bed, or even before you have a meal, if you just, sing a song with them. Or if you have an older child, sit down and do a puzzle with them maybe before dinner. I know you get home from work, everybody's tired, maybe after dinner. But again, it's 5 minutes that you spend that one-to-one time, with your children, you create great memories. And you know what? It makes everybody calm down, and you can take a breath and enjoy the rest of your day or the rest of your evening. So let me tell you a little bit about my guest before our break. Kirsten Chapman is the founder of Clanimals. I don't think I'm saying it right, but she'll tell us. How do we say it?
It's Cleanimals. I didn't come up with the easiest name to say.
I did say it right the first time. Okay. We're going to have a break in just a few minutes, but I do want to tell you about Kirsten Chapman, the founder of Cleanimals, stainless steel toy keys for baby. Cleanimals satisfy your child's desire to play with metal keys without the hazards of lead contamination, sharp edges, or the daily grime that come with the keys in the bottom of the diaper bag. Each Cleanimal has been safely tested for babies 6 months and up by a third-party laboratory. Good for kids, good for environment, proudly made in the USA. And I have to tell you, I have Cleanimals for my grandson. He's going to be 2 now, and he still wants them because, as you know, your kids always want your keys. And these are really awesome because, you know what? They look like keys. They're stainless steel. They're not plastic. They're safe. I'm going to have Kirsten tell you a lot more about it and how she developed them, but I love them. And I actually also she just put some spoons. I think she put a whole eating set in her line, and I just bought them for a shower gift a couple weeks ago. I mean, I think they're great.
Thank you.
And I know the kids love them, and they make, you say 6 months, and at 6 months they like them because they jingle next to each other. So there's learning about noise. They're shiny because they're stainless steel. So that's another teaching moment. I mean, I just love the product. And like I said, Alex is almost going to be 2. I can't believe it. He loves these keys. And I keep them when Grandma's there, who he calls Mama. And I give them to him when I'm with him just to make it, special because he does have a lot of toys. Anyway, when we come back from our break, we are going to be talking about Cleanimals, which I do like the name, and it looks just the way you said it, and I don't know why I was saying it the other way.
A lot of people like to add an A and say Cleanimals.
Cleanimals.
So you're not the only one.
No, and it's funny because there's a store in Arizona that I love, the toy store and dollhouse, and actually the owner told me how to say it. Sari said, no, that's not how you say it, so I should have remembered. So here comes the music. We will be right back. Please stay with us.
Thank you.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
Do you ever wonder if you're the only woman who runs errands in her yoga pants so it will look like she went to the gym? Or how about the only mom who feeds her kids raw cookie dough? Or are you the only one who cooks her family cold cereal for dinner? Do you need more laughter and less loudness? More self-love and less self-loathing? More joy and less judgment? You're not alone. Come to the living room, a place where we get comfy, candid, and confident together. Come seeking sanctuary and leave feeling renewed. We're saving a seat for you. Give yourself some living room today.
Have heard about the 2 window washers who were trapped on a dangling scaffold nearly 70 stories high on the new One World Trade Center tower for nearly 2 hours. Just a little more than a week after the nation's tallest building officially opened, throngs of New Yorkers were gone goozling up at the window washers as firefighters sawed through a thick double-layered window to rescue them. Whew, talk about horripilation or an experience that gives you goosebumps. The first scaffolding in New York for window cleaning was constructed in 1952. A single cleaning cycle on the 80-story glass walls of the Time Warner Center can take 6 men over 4 months to complete. The pay is good, but people with acrophobia or the fear of heights need not apply.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my new app, Too Funny for Words.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions. I am here with my wonderful guest, Kirsten Chapman. She is the founder of Cleanimals, and they're a stainless steel toy for babies. She started, I believe, with keys, and she has a flatware set. And
now a new rattle, too.
Oh, a new rattle. Wow, maybe I'll have another baby shower to go to. I love this product, and I'm looking at the homepage of your website, and it says, don't forget your keys at home. Stainless steel teething keys, that is. This is a simple baby toy I can attach with a pacifier clip that Haven loves to chew on, jingle like a rattle, and grab in her car seat or stroller. And that's from Jessica Alba. And, you know, you said you were also on the Martha Stewart show. This is a great product. How did you come up with this, and where did you get the name?
Well, funny that you should mention the name. I just was, thinking through ideas as I thought of the product and thought, that kind of makes sense because I'm combining clean, because they're stainless steel, so they're cleaner, key, and animals into one name, Cleanimals. And once people get it, it's kind of catchy and it sticks with you. But, of course, getting the name and the pronunciation, as we talked about earlier, can be kind of tricky. But I came up with the idea when my youngest son, who's, now 9, was an infant. So he started grabbing for my keys, and I had become really aware of, toxins in our environment and just living in a more eco-friendly, non-toxic way. And when he started grabbing for my keys, I looked online to see if I could find anything specifically non-toxic that would be a suitable alternative. And everything that I found was plastic, or there was kind of one big chunky set of keys that was plastic and metal, but I wasn't even sure what kind of metal and technically if it was non-toxic or not. This was really before the days of some stricter lead restrictions by the Consumer Product Safety Commission. So I was pretty particular about what I wanted for my son. I did buy a couple of those plastic options online, and he had absolutely no interest. And so then it struck me one day as I was drinking out of a stainless steel water bottle that it just made sense to have stainless steel keys, and I figured they must exist. So I looked online, but I couldn't find them anywhere. And so that was basically my inspiration. I decided it was a logical option for moms and babies to have, and so then I pursued my mission from there.
You know, and I'm glad you did, because it's really genius. I mean, you must, when you're walking around in the mall or you see somebody with babies and they have keys in their mouth and they're not cleanables, don't you want to go over and say, that's really dirty? You know, they fall on the floor and...
I do, and they're sharp. And the other thing that I learned that I was not aware of is that keys can contain lead. So your real keys can contain lead. And I actually had heard back from a customer at one point who said that her child had really, really high lead levels, and she was so thankful for Cleanimals because she had no idea that keys had lead in them, and basically through kind of the testing process and many doctors' visits, they finally established that the lead that her baby was being exposed to was from keys. So anyway, I am always tempted to say something, but I don't want to be that aggressive salesperson.
Oh, you know what? You go up. Sometimes I'll tell you, I go up to people because I love what I do, and I'll go up to a new parent and give them my card and, you know, tell them how cute the baby is, because babies are so cute. But what I won't do, and it's really tough, and I can understand what you're saying, is if you're in a public place and they have a toddler and the toddler is screaming at the top of their lungs, and I want to go over and pick the toddler up and say, why don't you do this or what? So it is tough unless it's an easy thing to do with the card. Maybe just walk next to him and drop the card in the stroller.
Right, subtle.
Yeah, it's very subtle. It's always good to help. You know, you do what you do, and I do what I do because we don't know. You know, new parents, toddler parents don't know. We've never done it before. Right. So,
very true.
But you know what? We won't go there because not everybody wants to help, and especially when it comes to family sharing things, you know, your mother, mother-in-law. So we won't go there. We'll talk about your product. So you manufacture your products in the U.S., which is great. How does that impact your business a lot? Because, we see so many things. We have organic baby food now, and we have clothes that, don't have dyes in them. How does that impact your business?
Well, it certainly makes production more expensive, although there are some aspects that are easier because, I don't have to worry about any kind of taxes or trade issues coming into the country. Also, there have been issues that I've heard about with, big cargo ships being stranded off the coast of California, for instance, because some shipping company went bankrupt. And I always think, I don't have to deal with that. I wish more people thought American-made items. I wish more people realized kind of the greater expense, but that goes into manufacturing in America. But at the same time, the greater quality, the better working environment, the fact that we're employing Americans. So it's got its benefits for sure. I just wish maybe more people appreciated that on a regular basis. I think that we're getting there. I think there's certainly more awareness, but I'm really proud of the fact that I manufacture in America. It's a silly business decision likely, but I never even looked at manufacturing prices in other countries because I figured it would be less expensive and I didn't want the temptation. It was kind of an ignorance is bliss approach. But at the same time, I've certainly had some challenges with manufacturing. When I was first making them, and really for the first 5 years of my business, they were piecemealed together. So I was receiving parts from the Chicago area and the Wisconsin area, and initially actually putting the parts on the rings myself and then driving them to a welder who was about an hour away from me. Then, fortunately, I learned that there is a local nonprofit that works with developmentally disabled people that could help me with some of the assembly. So the Providence Center started doing assembly for me. But then finally, about a year and a half ago, I found a manufacturer in New York that could do everything in one spot. So that's been hugely beneficial and has allowed me to grow at a faster pace and then also add on these other products that you mentioned in the past year.
That's great because as women, when we see something we want, we go after it. You know what? And like you said, you couldn't find what you wanted, so you invented it. And it's funny, I'm sitting here with a smile on my face because many years ago I wrote a couple of cookbooks and I used to make food. I used to cater and work for restaurants with desserts, but I also made food for a company in Philadelphia, which was an hour and a half away from me at the time. And I used to make packaged food. I would make lasagna, I would make stir fry, I'd put it in those little white takeout things, they would put it in the freezer and they would sell it. And I was thinking about all the things we learn when we want to do something because this business was really short-lived. One day I made this tremendous tray of lasagna and I had a Yorkie and I put it on my porch to cool so I could pack it, and he went out there and ate it. He ate three-quarters of it. I thought I killed a dog. And then so I remade it, and I drove the hour and a half, and there was a snowstorm, and I remember being parked, sliding on the ice, schlepping these trays of food into this place thinking, what am I doing?
Right.
and you look back, and it's
did you stick with it after?
I'm sorry, what?
I said, did you stick with it after that episode?
You know what? I didn't because I love to cook and bake, but I also love babies, toddlers, and parents. And that's when I started thinking about doing my books and doing the next adventure in my life. But I'll tell you what, when I listen to you and I think about that, we wouldn't get to where we were without having all these experiences, good, bad, and ugly.
Right.
To make it work. And you know what? We're still learning. Who knows what's going to be? Because what else are you making now? You're making the flatware set?
Yeah, so we have the flatware set, and I introduced some new animals. So my original animals were Eli, Gus, and Leo. So an elephant, a giraffe, and a lion.
They're so cute.
Thank you. I definitely have a special attachment to them because Eli and Gus are named after my kids' Levies. They had Eli the elephant and Gus the giraffe. So, and then so I introduced a flatware that matched the keys initially, and then this past year I rolled out some new animals, which I call my Arctic friends. I do try to take advantage of, I guess, using my company to make people more aware about environmental issues too. And so I figured, well, let's draw some attention to the Arctic, because we all know that, the Arctic is changing pretty rapidly with melting sea ice. So I have now Scout the snowy owl, Pippi the polar bear, and now I'm going to flake because I'm live on air. So
it's okay.
Forget all of a sudden.
It's fine. You can tell when you remember.
So anyway, I'm sorry. I said Pippi the polar bear, Scout the snowshoe hare. So she's actually named after my niece, and then Otto the snowy owl. That's why I threw myself off there. And so they're now on a second set of flatware, and then I introduced what I'm calling a rattle. It has a bigger ring, and it has some beads in between each key, and then the keys are a little bit smaller, and they spin on the ring in a slightly different way than my original set.
Now, if you're listening, go to Cleanimals. Is it cleanimals.com?
Yeah, the easiest thing is people can search cleankeyanimals.com, and it will automatically redirect to my website.
If you go to the
people
website,
know how to spell Clean Key Animals.
Go take a look. It's so you have a great site too. And I'm looking at the page. When we come back from our break, we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts, because as with all toys, there are always do's and don'ts. But this is so cute because it shows the keys and it shows exactly what they are. And is this your daughter holding the keys?
No, I wish. By the time I produced these, my kids were too old. So I have a couple of pictures of, yes, it is a cute baby.
Very cute baby. So go to the website, take a look. These are great gifts. You know what? They're great shower gifts, but I think every baby should have these, because every baby wants your keys. As soon as they see them, they want your keys. And these are safer and cleaner, and they're not going to get any reactions to anything. So when we come back, I am talking to Kirsten Chapman. She is the founder of Cleanimals stainless steel toys and keys for babies. I know you'll love them. And we will be back in just a few minutes. If you have a question, a comment, or want to say hi, call us at 877-864-4869. We will be right back.
We'll be right back with more help. For help, my baby came without instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
Do you ever wonder if you're the only woman who runs errands in her yoga pants so it will look like she went to the gym? Or how about the only mom who feeds her kids raw cookie dough? Or are you the only one who cooks her family cold cereal for dinner? Do you need more laughter and less loudness? More self-love and less self-loathing? More joy and less judgment? You're not alone. Come to the living room, a place where we get comfy, candid, and confident together. Come seeking sanctuary and leave feeling renewed. We're saving a seat for you. Give yourself some living room today.
This is the TogiNet Radio Network, radio with a cutting edge.
It's words you never heard.
Did you know 1/3 of the population suffers from bad breath? Several years ago, a New York City doorman was actually suspended from work because people were complaining about his bad breath. Other words for foul-smelling breath are halitosis and ozostomia. So, what are common causes of ozostomia? Coffee is a problem because it's very acidic, and bacteria reproduce faster in an acid environment. Candy and gum contain sugar, which is also a problem because sugar feeds the bacteria that cause bad breath. Alcohol is another culprit. What's another name for cheap wine? Plonk, slip slop, or stinky bus.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions. I'm here talking to my wonderful guest, Kirsten Chapman, the founder of Cleanimals. They're stainless steel toy keys, animals, there's a flatware set, and we're talking all about, how everything goes in your little one's mouth, and these are a great product. But she's also a mom of 2 boys. And at the beginning of the show, if you tuned in, I was talking about a study that was in USA Today that firstborn children are smarter than their siblings. So what do you think?
Well, let's see. I don't really want to refer to my own kids because I would feel like I'm not being fair to my younger son if I think that's true. Because they both do quite well on their report cards. Not bragging, but just more I don't want to compare them in terms of their intelligence.
No.
I think every child has a different personality and a different way of taking in the world. So certainly my older son tends to be a little bit more focused and I guess kind of quiet in the way he takes in the world, whereas my younger son tends to have a lot more energy. So while he's learning things, it's sometimes not as obvious in the same way. He doesn't come across as being as intellectual, yet he's got a lot of deep thoughts that are inside that little head. I do think there's some truth to what you said in that, with your first child, you have a whole lot more time to just focus on that child and fewer distractions. There are obviously distractions, but just not as many as when you're juggling 2 kids and you have one who's probably moving around a lot more and needs a different kind of entertainment than a baby does. And, of course, second, third, fourth children end up getting toted around to do things that their older siblings are doing. So it's definitely a different experience for any child after the first, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny because as I was talking about this, I'm thinking, why do they do studies like this? Because every child is unique. I mean, my children are adults, and they couldn't be more different if we tried. And they're both they're both intelligent. They're both have great things that they do to offer the world. And it's just amazing to me that it's like, why are you doing this study? They're all intelligent, and it's fun to watch differences with your kids. I don't think it has anything to do with intelligence. I think we just look at our kids and go, wow, look how they're learning, and look at the difference. And then all of a sudden you go, wait, they're all grown up. Now what? Because we were talking about that during the break. They grow up so quickly. Anyway, so I don't know why they did this study, but all of them are different. They're all miracles, and they're all intelligent. So don't compare your kids. Great answer. I like your opinion because I always give my opinion on this show. Anyway, with your cleanables, I think it's so great because you're such a socially responsible company, and you donate 1% of every purchase to Healthy Child, Healthy World, and also to World Wildlife Fund. And you talked about the program for the mentally disabled that we're helping you. I mean, what a great thing.
Thank you. It's back to my decisions might not always be best from a business perspective, but at the end of the day, I feel really good about what my company is doing. And at this point, I'm lucky because I don't have to answer to anyone but myself, so I can make those kinds of decisions that I feel good about. So.
No, and that's the best.
I'm thankful to have a husband with a job, so that helps too.
That's really great. Yay. So I'm looking at your site, and one of the things I love that you talk about, not just for your toys so much, you have do's and don'ts. Share some of the do's and don'ts about Cleanimals.
So one of the great things is that they're dishwasher safe. So that makes them really easy to clean, and kind of back to the name, Clean Key Animals. You can get the keys themselves engraved. I like to call them all of my products practical heirloom products because while silver gifts are beautiful, they typically are not used. They kind of sit on a shelf, at least in my household. They
The
sit on the shelf, and then I have
it's
to
the
polish them
spoon.
every so often. So stainless steel is really easy, but it will last, more than a lifetime. So it could be passed on from one generation to the next. We celebrate Christmas in my house, so one of the other things I've said is, once your child grows out of them, you can use it as a decoration on the Christmas tree and pull it out every year. So anyway, those are just some fun thoughts to share.
Also one thing I do need to say, because I'm looking at your page and it's so true, don't put them in the microwave. Don't put any metal. Don't put aluminum foil in the microwave. You're going to wreck your microwave. But it's great that they're dishwasher safe. I just had somebody ask me a question online. Do they tarnish?
They should not tarnish because it's stainless steel. All stainless can every so often get a little bit of rust on it. I have not had anyone ever complain about it. And I love Bon Ami, that cleaning powder that's eco-friendly, but it has like a little bit of an abrasive in it. So if ever they did, you could use a little bit of that on the stainless steel. But I have not, knock on wood, had issues with anyone complaining about tarnishing.
No, and I remember that Bon Ami, Bonami. That's been around forever.
Yes, it has been around forever. And
isn't it an orange?
Believe it or
and
not,
white?
there have been some. It's like gold. It's similar to a barkeeper's friend, if people are familiar with that. I don't know. My caveat being, I don't know if barkeeper's friend is eco-friendly because I use Bon Ami in my house. But anyway, it is a nice cleaning item for stainless steel pots and pans, your flatware, and cleanables.
That's another good tip. I can just see that box. Isn't it orange? Isn't it like orange and white or something? It's been around for so long.
It's in like a Comet type bottle.
Well, maybe they
so
changed. Oh, that's right. Maybe
cylinder.
they changed the packaging. I'm old.
Yeah. It's a product that's been around a long time. My dad always says that my grandmother called it Bon Ami, I think, but I was a French major in college, so I can't call it that.
I always thought it was Bon Ami too. Also, do people, I heard this too. It says don't salt them. Do people put salt on metal?
I would not think so, but it's just one of those things that I learned, has an impact on stainless steel, or can have an impact on stainless steel. I remember when I got stainless steel pots and pans, I think in the recommendation it said, not to put salt directly on the pan. You want to have kind of your oil heated first and then mix it in. So again, it's not one of those issues that I've really seen, but like with most products, we have to have all of our different instructions and caveats on there just in case.
Well, this is
one
really
of the
a good page, the do's and don'ts, because it makes you... I'm sorry, what?
Sorry. I was going to say, one of the other do's I love is having a pacifier clip for them, because, as soon as the baby realizes that there could be a game and dropping them on the floor and having mom or dad pick them up, or grandma, then they'll keep doing it. And so I certainly hear about people's keys going missing and then showing up again months later. But if you use a passy clip, on the stroller, on the changing table, in the high chair, in the car seat, it's a great way to keep them safe and from falling down any crevices, and then also save your back from picking them up nonstop.
I wish I could remember the name of this company that I had on my show. They invented this apple, and it's got a suction that's just amazing, that it suctions to the high chair tray, it suctions to the stroller tray, and it's got a cord that you put the toys on. This would be great for you to be with this company. You know what? I'll have to email it to you, because this would be a great team. And it's so wonderful because the kids can't get it off, so it doesn't keep falling on the floor. And we know that's a game. I mean, that's part of their learning. It's cause and effect. And, but after the 10th time, it's like, okay, we're not doing this game anymore. But they really don't. Parents sometimes will look at their little ones in the high chair and they'll think, why are they doing this? But they're doing it because it's learning. But this company, if I you know what, I'll see if I can find it during the commercial break. I love this product too, and it would go great with your cleanables because they wouldn't fall on the floor.
Right. Good to know.
So
thank you.
Were you on Martha? Did you meet Martha Stewart?
I did, and it was really fortunate timing because it was shortly before she went off the air with that show she had for many years. And I had sent her a set for her grandson, Jude, and I have so much respect for her because she basically talked to her producer and said, I want you to follow up with this idea. I think it's really neat. And, I have sent my product to other celebrities in hopes that someone will get the word out for me. They'll appear in Us Magazine or something. And I typically do not hear back. But Martha Stewart was fantastic, really liked the idea, and then invited me on the show. It was basically kind of 3 female entrepreneurs that were invited on to share their business startups and how they came up with the idea and how they launched the idea. So it was a really neat experience.
You need to go with Hoda from the Today Show, who just adopted a baby girl.
I just saw that in the news today. So you're right.
All the people with the babies, there's a couple of them that are on maternity leave. Those are perfect, especially Hoda. She's a new mom. Yeah. She's an older mom. And that baby's so cute. Yeah. They showed it on TV. Cute little baby. Anyway, your boys are very handsome. I'm looking at your site. I'm assuming these are your boys because I just love your site. You know what? I'm just looking all around on here. Anyway, so let me ask you a question. Is when you had the plastic keys, you said you had the plastic keys too, which, most parents get the plastic keys. Did your kids like them at all? Did they tease on them? Because this is great for...
Not at all. He had absolutely no interest in it. So anyway, that's why.
And they don't jingle.
There's got to be something more realistic. Yeah, they don't jingle. They're not cold. I do think babies like the texture and that feel of the metal. Is my theory, of course. Most babies can't articulate that. But but I think they like that sensation of the cold metal. And I used to even going out to a restaurant ask for a couple of spoons to give to my kids to play with in the high chair. So that was the other reason why it made sense to me to have a couple of stainless steel keys on a ring. And from there to make it cuter by making them animals.
It's really great. And the thing is, we're talking about metal, but it's smooth, so it's not going to cut your children's gums. It's not going to hurt their gums. The cool from the metal and the smoothness of it is great when they put it in their mouth, and they're not dirty, and you can put them in the dishwasher, and we're going to have another break. This goes so fast. So we will be back with Kirsten Chapman, founder of Cleanimals, stainless steel toys for babies.
We'll be right back with more Help My Baby Came Without Instructions. It's Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet. We'll be right back right after these.
It's words you never heard.
Got a lead foot? According to state troopers, here's what not to do when you get pulled over. Don't be a lachrymous and start crying right away. It doesn't help. But if you're under 20, crying won't be held against you. Don't ask for a break, and don't yell or start any argy-bargy. And one trooper said, if they're going to flirt with me to get out of a ticket, it would probably insult my intelligence. But unfortunately, I don't get hit on all that often. So flirting or being a gill flirt won't work. Did you know that 15% of all drivers get 76% of all traffic tickets? And the odds of winning if you challenge a traffic ticket in court are 1 in 3. So what should you do when you get pulled over for speeding? Be courteous to the officer, and most of all, be honest.
It's words you never heard.
I'm Carolyn Davidson, and you can have fun challenging your words you never heard vocabulary with my free app, Too Funny for Words.
It's the Fitness Minute with fitness expert Annette Hammond.
The Huffington Post published an article called 8 Habits of Insanely Fit People, and I like them. They wrote that number 1 is fit people don't diet. They adopt a healthy eating plan and stick to it. The second habit is they find a way to enjoy exercise. Number 3, they don't compare their bodies to other people's bodies. The fourth habit is they get enough sleep. Number 5 is they cheat, meaning there is a little wiggle room in their healthy eating plan. The sixth habit is they make fitness a priority. Number 7 is they eat breakfast. And the 8th habit is they find and appreciate support. Embracing these 8 practices is a good thing to keep you on track with your exercise. I'm Annette Hammond. To hear other fitness and weight loss tips, visit our website at AnnetteHammond.com.
Welcome back to Baby and Toddler Instructions with Blythe Lipman on TogiNet, the hour for all moms with little ones to come for great advice, encouragement, and great ideas for all new parents. Now, back to the show with Blythe Lipman.
Well, welcome back. I can't believe we're up to the last part of the show. I am here with Kirsten Chapman. She's the founder of Cleanimals. Cleanimals, it's Kleinimals. They're stainless steel toy keys. She has a flatware set. And before the break, I was talking about teething because, as we know, everything goes in the baby's mouths, especially when they first start to teeth. And these are smooth and they're cold. And I just believe there's so many teaching moments with this product, too, between the noise and the coldness and, and the feel of it. And it's funny because you think about baby toys and the animals. Yes, that's why they're called Cleanimals. And it's interesting because when we buy toys for our kids, no matter what age, especially now that I'm a grandma, I mean, I don't know if I did this so much when I shouldn't say this. It's going to knock my credibility down. But, I look at the toys because I've been in this field for so many years, and I think, well, what else does it do besides look like something, is it a book? What's it talk about? What kind of animals are in it? Or is this a teaching tool besides just being able to play with something? The toy store and dollhouse in Arizona, which is a great store, and Sari Powazik has been on the show a number of times. She's great. She can tell you everything about children. You walk in her store, and she'll say, how old are your kids? And she'll show you 5 or 6 different things without batteries. So the reason I am connecting this is that when you do get a toy for your kids, stop and look at it. Don't just get something with a battery to entertain them. We all have cell phones, and I do have to say that there are a lot of great teaching apps on there. It's not just about handing your child a phone, which, when they first came out and you could see a video, nobody really knew what to do with it except that it was great entertainment, especially if you were in a restaurant or in a public place and your children were cranky. But anyway, this is also a wonderful teaching tool. So many things in this one little set of keys with the animals. So let me ask you, do you have favorite parenting tips? 1, 2, or 3? Doesn't matter what age.
So for infants, for any friend who's having a baby, I always share the blow dryer tip. So it kind of has to do with the shushing that helps soothe the baby. But I had 2 boys who were both pretty fussy, and the sound of the blow dryer used to calm them down. And I found that out changing diapers because one of them ended up with kind of a yeast infection, not to be gross, but, that sometimes we have to deal with these things as parents.
Right.
And so I would blow dry off his little bottom before putting on a diaper and realized, that soothes him. He stops crying. So the blow dryer is my favorite tip for fussy babies. I think that loud white noise helps them. And then my other tip is my family loves to travel. We have had so many amazing family experiences, and it started young. And I remember having friends that would, say that they just hated to travel because it threw off, the sleep schedule, which we all know is important. But it throws off the sleep schedule, and there's just so much work involved in traveling and this, that, or the other thing. And I think what I found is that in our many travel experiences, first of all, it's wonderful family time because it pulls us out of our home and our to-do list and allows us to enjoy each other and whatever we're learning from the current place where we are traveling to. And then the other thing is I think it teaches kids a bit of flexibility and open-mindedness. So I love that my kids have really embraced traveling and kind of learning about different cultures and people and areas, history. there's just so much to be gleaned. Obviously it takes money, unfortunately, but there are camping options and the like too as a way to go less expensive. But either way, I think it's important to get out of your house, spend time as a family, and explore it together.
When did you start traveling with your kids? How old were they?
Oh, right off the bat, because my husband travels a lot for work, and so he had a Southwest companion pass. So with my youngest, he would fly for free. I would fly for free, so we could kind of go anywhere pretty inexpensively. So, yeah, when he was just an infant, we started traveling. I think the first year we went to Colorado with my family, and Maine and Cape Cod, because that's where my husband's parents live. So, anyway, we did a lot.
Any tips for on the plane that you remember with your little ones besides,
Cleanables are actually great on the plane, by the way. They're a great travel toy. So I didn't bring up traveling just so I could bring up Cleanables, but they are a great
it's
travel
true.
toy. So other tips for the plane, I didn't have phones as much back then that I utilized. So I had a bunch of small little puzzles and kind of small card games. I had almost a travel sack that I would bring with me to restaurants, to church, to the plane, that would have a little satchel of some entertaining things for me to do typically with my younger children. Obviously, that doesn't work at 6 months and under, so that's where something like Cleanables can come in handy at around 6 months, between 6 months and a year. But anyway, the other thing is that, you know what, don't worry if your baby is crying. I know everyone worries about everyone else around them, but in most cases, I think people are compassionate and understanding to the poor parents traveling with a crying baby.
No, I agree with that, and it's great that you said that about the traveling bag, because one of my favorite tips is go to the dollar store, or go to the toy store, get some age-appropriate, safe toys, and just use them when you're out. Like, it doesn't have to be the plane. Right. It can be the grocery store. It can be a restaurant. Right. And it's new. Anything new the kids love. Right. I mean, years ago when we didn't have cell phones, my kids played with the sugar. They piled them up, and they, and they played with the spoons, and we didn't have the cell phones. If you go to a restaurant, if you see how many kids are looking at their parents' cell phones, and I have to say, if they're young, I used to say, no, you can't do that. But I'll tell you, if you have an app on your phone that's colors, it's animals, it's something, again, that's a teaching tool, and you're not just, putting a video in front of them so they're quiet. Right. I think they can learn. Because let's face it, as I said in the beginning of the show, it's tough to sit still. And when I was on the plane on Sunday, it was almost for 5 hours, and there were some babies on there, and I have to say they were very quiet. And I love that you said, if your baby's crying, don't stress about it, because then by the time you get off the plane, you're like so tight, you can't stand it, and because you're worried about the other people. I don't know if you saw this. It was a number of months ago. The parents went on the plane, and they had twins, and they made a goodie bag for everybody that included earplugs. Oh no! And they apologized. They handed them out to everybody on the plane, and they apologized ahead of time if their babies cried. And I thought, maybe it wasn't necessary, but I thought it was the greatest thing, because everybody has their stress. People are traveling for business, or they're sleep deprived. They just come from an international flight, and they just want to be left alone. All of us know we sit next to somebody sometimes, and all they want to do is talk, and all you want to do is sleep or read your book. Right. So, right. It's kind of cramped. But anyway, I love that you have that tip. One of my other tips for traveling is if your children are old enough to eat, cereal or goldfish or whatever you give them, take a couple of paper cups with you, or even the plastic colored cups, and you can make a counting game out of it. You can make a color game out of it. You can make a hide and seek. You can put a piece of the cereal under a cup and all of a sudden make it disappear. I mean, there's so many things you can do to entertain your little ones if you're in a place that they have to sit still for more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, very true.
So that's an easy one to do if they're old enough. Also, so we are coming to the end of the show. Can you please tell my listeners where they can find Cleanimals and you and your great website?
So the easiest thing to do is look up cleankeyAnimals.com. Also, though, typically if people look up, metal toy keys or baby keys, you might have to scroll down a little bit to find it, but they come up pretty easily in a Google search. So I sell them online, and then I also have some independent brick and mortars in the U.S. as well as one in Canada, Australia, and New Zealand that sell my products. So if they want to find them locally, there is a retail area on my website to find those stores where they can purchase directly through my website as well.
Well, thanks so much for being on the show. I love your products.
Thank you.
Keep in touch when the next ones come out. Let me know. You can be on the show again. We can talk about it. So you have a wonderful day. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Blythe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Wow, what a fun show, a great show. As you know, you can tell I love her products, and especially that she donates some of the proceeds to some of the organizations. Also, next week, my guest will be mom and author Allison Wong. She is the founder of New Mom Comics, the first year. She has great tips and such a wonderful sense of humor. I can't wait to talk to Allison. Also, again, don't forget to like my pages on Facebook, My Best Parenting Advice, Baby Instructions, and please leave a comment. Don't just like it, just say something. I do Facebook Live. You'll see my videos throughout the week. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Pinterest. I do Periscope. I do everything because I love sharing my tips with you, my parent listeners. There's always something new to learn for all of us. So check out my sites and then go to my website, mybestparentingadvice.com. I have blog posts and experts. So mybestparentingadvice.com and call my office, 480-510-1453 if you need a little non-medical help those first 4 years. So if you're a regular listener, you know that a sense of humor is a must. We should all laugh at least twice a day. So here's a little humor to end my show today. I'm a mother. My hobbies include neglecting my hair, repeating myself over and over, daydreaming about bedtime, constantly picking up my couch cushions from the floor, and never peeing by myself. Little boys bring you just to the brink of insanity before gently easing you off the ledge with a sweet kiss and laughter from a perfectly timed fart. And finally, I wonder what my kids are going to tell their kids. It was so rough back in my day. I didn't get a phone until 4th grade, and sometimes the Wi-Fi didn't always work upstairs. So thanks so much for tuning in today. Have a great rest of the week, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.